Good afternoon, this is Dave Wendell with Bushcraft on Fire, and we're glad to have you with us for another video. Today I want to talk to you about a product that I ran across. I've been using tarps for a long time, mostly the plastic tarps that you buy at Walmart or auto stores. And when you come to a place to camp out that looks like this, all downhill and uphill, no real flat spots, what are you going to do? Well, the obvious answer, throw up your hammock between two trees. But if it's going to rain, if it's going to be windy, you need some protection overhead. So what I'm doing is throwing up my ridge line here. Now, this hammock is the Trek Light. Many of you have seen that on some of Dave's videos. Excellent hammock. This is an oversized hammock. And I figure with the hammock that good, I want to have something real good to cover myself. What I'm doing here, I'm just going to throw up my ridge line. And once I get this ridge line thrown up, we'll be back with you to show you a new product that I found called the Swack Shack by Survival Solutions. Okay, this is a Swack Shack, and what it is basically is a tarp that was designed by a man named George Jasper. Some of you may have heard of George Jasper. He is a U.S. Ranger in Special Ops, and he wrote a book, 6 Ways In and 12 Ways Out. And he wanted a tarp that was designed after the British Basha that would serve him well. So this is the design that they came up with, and I'm going to show you this. This is a really big tarp. It's comparable in weight to about an 8x6 plastic tarp. If you come and get a close-up here, the first thing you'll see is that this has nylon webbing on the top. There's 3 pieces, so I could hang this over or underneath of my ridge line, and they're all X-sewn with the square around them, heavy duty, okay? And there's 3 of those on the tarp. And you can see that that's going to make it a lot easier for me to tie out in just a few minutes. The tarp itself is made out of a 70 denier ripstop nylon, and it's really neat. This is FR coated, and so it's waterproof, totally waterproof. But on the inside, they've actually coated this. It's called back coating with a urethane. It's absolutely totally water repellent, and it's non-breathable, so you wouldn't want to close yourself in this, but it's non-breathable. One of the nice things about that is it'll help keep the dew and the moisture off of you. Another nice thing while we're setting this tarp out is that it's made in the USA. One of the nice things about this tarp, it comes with these cords, and it has the adjustable connector on here that keeps your tarp tight without slipping back. That's a real good benefit. Keeps it nice and hanging out tight, so you don't have any problems as far as slippage. You don't have to go back, tie a lot of extra knots around here. You can put this thing up in a hurry, and that's a good thing when you're out in the bush and the night's falling and you need to have your shelter right away. So there we go. We've got it basically tied out on the 4 corners. Each of these corners has a heavy-duty grommet in it. It's going to keep it from ripping out. And the grommet actually is sewn in by itself, so that'll help it. If I wanted extra tie-out, I've got 2 extra grommets on the side, so I can use this in a variety of different fashions. I can put this up as a freestanding shelter. I can use it as a tarp over top of my hammock. I can use it in all different shelter configurations. Another use that we have for this tarp, and it's kind of neat, if you remember the blanket that you can use as a capote, you can do virtually the same thing with this tarp. Being that it's not a plastic tarp, it has play, it has give in it. And if you've ever had a rubberized military poncho, then you'll know this is very similar material to that. What I can do, I can actually take and I can wrap this around myself much like a capote with the blanket, and that will keep me from any rain. It's non-breathable, so in hot weather it will be pretty warm. However, in cooler weather it would actually give me another insulative layer, and it will certainly keep me dry if I didn't have a poncho or a raincoat and it was raining. A couple more things about this. As I mentioned to you earlier, this is a whopping 8.5 foot by 7 foot. But even with that length, you can see that my Trek Light still hangs out a little bit. That's not going to make a huge amount of difference unless there was a lot of rain. But because this tarp is almost square, I can turn it around. I can put this end on this side of the tree and the opposite end corner on the other side of the tree and have it set up as a diamond fly. And if I set it up as a diamond fly, then it's going to reach a whole lot longer, I think 10.5 or 11 foot. So it will definitely cover my shelter at that point. I'm not going to get wet. Finally, this thing is totally fire resistant, fire retardant. So if I have a fire somewhere near here and some sparks fly, this is not going to catch on fire. I've seen some horror stories on YouTube and other places where nylon tarps have caught on fire and literally could burn a person up in just a few minutes. So that's a good thing. Totally fire resistant for you. What I'm doing now, if you remember our friendly little prusik knot, and that prusik knot will tie right on to this nylon webbing. That's one reason I like these. It's not going to rip this cordage out because I'm putting a little bit of pressure up here and I don't want to rip that out. Put that on there, slide it down tight, and the tarp's almost set up. Now all that we have to do is go back around, make sure all the guy lines are tight, that they're even the way that we want them, and we should have a real good setup. So let's do that and we'll be right back with you. Well, there you go. Setup took about 3 to 4 minutes from the time we put up the ridge until the time the shelter was set up. Nice and taut. It's going to keep the rain off me. It's going to keep the wind out pretty well. And you can see that it's a pretty setup. The camouflage makes it nice if I'm trying to stay incognito out in the bush as well. And one of the things I really like about this, if you notice this thread on here, anytime I can get a close-up of that thread for you, and it is a 46 mil spec bonded nylon thread. So it's a very, very good heavy-duty kind of thing that's going to wear a long time. Now let's take a look inside and see how it looks. Well folks, this is comfy cozy, let me tell you. This tarp is holding its own. It's going to keep me nice and dry. It's going to keep me free from the wind. Now if I really wanted to have extra protection, we're not expecting any rain out here, but if I was down on the Gulf Coast right now where they've got the storms coming in, I could lower my ridge line down just above my head here. One of the nice things about my ridge line, I can reach up there, hook things on there, and that's going to give me a lot of comfort. So I can't say enough about this tarp. You can see from the inside a little better the ripstop pattern on here. You can see the seams are double stitch seams. They're well sewn in, and I've gone ahead and I've put some seam protector on there to keep them so that there isn't any problem with the seams. But you know, the way this thing's built, I don't think there's going to be any real problem. So if you're looking for a quality tarp, if you're looking for something that will last a long time and will do the job, the Swack Shack is a good thing to have overhead. This is David Wendell with BushcraftOnFire. We're pleased to have you with us for this video. Hope that you join us again. Until then, have a great day. Now, I'm going to take a nap.